Just wanted to talk about something that happened to me yesterday. Not necessarily me, but something that I witnessed. I'm just absolutely disgusted. So, yesterday, it was Sunday, was the 26th of April. My son and me were coming back from somewhere, and, he was just feeling a little sad. Just circumstances where we were coming back from. So he asked me, because he saw a park on the way there, and he said, can we go to the park after? I said, yeah, sure, we'll go to the park after. So we went to this park. He's having the time of his life like any other kid, all the other kids there, having a blast. My son is incredibly high energy, so we were there for total probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And he was just nonstop. Other kids, you see, they're resting, they're taking their time, they're slowing down at some points. Nope, he just kept going. But anyway, that's besides the point. So we're having a good day. I'm sitting on the bench, just watching him, having a blast. And so I see these two women approaching me, and the only reason why I'm going to outline their nationality is you'll understand in a moment. So I'm sitting on the bench. The bench is, it's probably enough for, it's not a long bench. It's long enough for like maybe 2 adults and a child, I'll say. So I was sitting on the very end, and I had my son's coat and his water bottle beside me, just sitting there enjoying the sun. It was a gorgeous day. And so he's playing and this and that. So these two ladies, and I don't know if it was their daughter, granddaughter, niece, whatever, 2 African Canadian women or, Caribbean women. And this young child, she had to have been probably between 10 and 12 years old. So I'm sitting there. One of them says, can you move your stuff? We'd like to sit down. Sure, no problem. Move my stuff out of the way. So I'm sitting there. We're all kind of crammed because it's me and 2 other adults on this bench. And then the young lady, the young girl was standing beside the one on the far end. So I'm sitting there, still watching my son running around and stuff, and I start hearing, oh, what are all these white people doing here? What are all, where's all the black people? These are their words, not mine. And this is not me speculating what they heard. This is what I heard. This is what they said. Where's all the black kids? And, oh, these white people, they just want to be black. I guess the area is predominantly black community, black families, whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. The race, the children that were there were all of all sorts of races. There was my son, who is biracial. There was children of Asian descent. There were children of Arabic descent. There were actually maybe a couple other white children as well, Caucasian, if you will. There were all sorts of different children. Children go, it doesn't matter what race, color, ethnicity they are. They go to play at a park. It doesn't matter. So they're going on, and then they made the comment. I didn't care, because you know what? I'm a grown woman. I can deal with myself, and they're just muttering to themselves. And then they say this: nobody's going to want to play with her, referring to the girl that was with them, the young, beautiful little girl, because she's black. They said that. And I was a little annoyed with what they were saying initially, but it was no big deal. I wasn't going to sit there and make comments. But as soon as they said that, I stood up and I said, I'm pretty sure these kids here don't care about the color of anybody's skin. They're just kids. They're having fun. And I walked, I'm like, I'm done. At that time, we'd already been there for an hour and a half or, 2 hours. And I was done. So I grabbed my son and we're walking away, and I yelled, I just got so mad. I said, you guys are racists. You're disgusting. You're insulting your own, this young lady you know, and I just walked away, went to my car. And I thought, this poor girl, she's already doomed. She's already possibly experiencing what all young children, not just girls, but all young children experience, insecurities at different ages. And, you know, between 10 and 12 is a big one. Insecurities about themselves as it is. And if this is how this family, whoever these women were to this girl, mother, sisters, whatever, grandmother, this poor kid has obviously been hearing somewhat of that for their entire life. And that is so sad that they would even say anything like that and discredit and not discredit's probably the wrong word, it's probably completely the wrong word, completely dismantle this girl's self-esteem of who she is, her ethnicity, and taking any kind of proudness away from who she is as a young woman, and who she's going to become as a woman, and who in the world is her enemy because of who's saying it in their household. I am absolutely disgusted. I just cannot. That poor kid. I don't usually say anything. I don't usually make disruptions or anything like that. But when they said that, I was mad. I felt so bad for that kid. And hopefully, I'm not saying, oh, I saved her life or anything. I hopefully, with what I said, I'm pretty sure that these children don't care about color, race, or whatever. I hope that I just internally helped her a little bit, because that's disgusting. Because the kids are all playing. My son was playing with children younger, older, different colors, different races, different genders. It didn't matter. Kids are kids. They're gonna have fun. They're just playing at a playground, you know? And I'm so grossed out. Like, I cannot stress how grossed out I am right now. I cannot deal with that kind of ignorance. I really can't. And that kind of breaking down of poor kids, it's gross. So I just wanted to share that. I didn't care about what they were saying about, you know, white people and whatever, because I think a different family were the only other white people there, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's not what the issue is. I'm a big woman. I can deal with myself. But I am absolutely grossed out. And I'm glad I said something, because I don't usually say anything to anybody. But when it came to that poor girl's self-esteem, her self-credit, her self-worth, I can't deal with that. And I hope that if anybody sees this, they do the same thing in the same situation, no matter what your beliefs or you know, your thoughts are on different people. It doesn't matter. A kid is a kid. They're innocent. They're absolutely innocent. And their world is being formed at home, first and foremost. It's being formed at home. So I hope to God, if anybody ever sees this and they see something like that, they say something and they stick up for that poor kid. And I hope to God, if those women, they see this somehow, I'm a very small creator, I don't have many subscribers or views or anything, but if those women see this, you're fucking disgusting. Just know that, you're disgusting. And that's it, that's all I have to say.